My name is Oliver Jeffers, and I'm a visual artist, storyteller, typographer, and for this tour, I drew all of the hand-drawn elements that are in the first half of the show, and then for the one and the red segments in the second half of the show. I got involved with U2 in the Songs of Innocence and Experience tour maybe about 4 months before show day. So when talking with Willie Williams, it then became transparent that they'd been using this sketchbook a little bit for some of the visual references for some of the aspects of the tour, and at that point it was realized that I was the author of that as well as the red stuff, and so I was brought into the fold quite quickly. This is just me kind of freewheeling on, hearing some of the songs and talking about some of the stories behind the songs, and actually some of the songs as well without necessarily knowing what they're about, because it happened in the conversations about the context happened in bursts. And so just listening to the songs and picking out a few of the things, like "We Begin to Forget" is a line in Iris. And I don't know why, but I just sort of, it drew this parallel with these constellations. And I'm making this other project about memory at the moment, and there's the vastness of outer space just seemed fitting somehow. So I made this, I just splattered some blobs of paint on and then made up constellations. So none of these constellations are accurate, they're all made up, but there's a poignancy in that too. And so it says "We Begin to Forget," and then this ended up becoming the very first visuals that you see on the screen. You see that little bit of the Super 8 footage of Iris, and then that cuts out, and then these constellations start to appear and rotate very slowly over it, drawing as you see them unfold. And then the footage comes back on, and it itself becomes, it sort of blows out as if it's been overexposed, and it shrinks down to become one of those stars. So it's his mother becomes one of these memories, and then that rotates away, and then it's one of my favorite parts of the show from an animation standpoint, is that everything that's in that universe is contained within this one light bulb that's contained within his bedroom, and it's this pan back to then the row of houses at nighttime, which turns into the white line drawing, which then becomes Cedarwood Road, which pans right past. And at that point, it's a very fine line between a rock and roll show and theatre. Yeah, these are actually the first incarnations of the houses, which led to the style of Cedarwood Road and at the very end of Iris. And stylistically, these could not work for Cedarwood Road because of how bright they are, because the Bono needs to be seen walking through the screen at that point. So which was when I ended up going with the line art versions, and then these all scroll past, and the yellow line is the actual road. The light bulb theme, I can't remember how that came about, but sort of one of the very early conversations and it was quite a surreal moment. Bono just said, "Can you come over to Electric Lady Studios?" So I went and I kind of sat around the waiting room and for a while, and I thought, somebody's going to let me hear the album. I knew that's what I was there for. But then Bono himself came down, he was like, "Come with me." And it was just the two of us in the big massive room, and he played the entire album, singing it while explaining the motivation for some of the stories. And just some of these moments popped into my ear, like the empty chair facing a window, which is actually that empty chair and that window. And then just the light bulb standing on its own, which then ended up becoming this theme throughout the whole show. And that was, I think, from something he said, and I can't even remember the context of it now, but I just made a drawing. It was like, there's something just so powerful about that, about this single light bulb. And then, of course, some of these, the murals, which ended up becoming part of Bloody Sunday. And then that's one of the lines from No Them, Only Us. What is that? That's Invisible, I think. I knew I wasn't going to see the concert until they came to New York. And when I was standing there, I was overwhelmed with pride at being involved. I was just like, this is one of the most incredible experiences I've ever been a part of.